All righty, thank you so much, Eileen, and thank you, Sherry, for having us today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so we can go ahead and get started. So hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Toolbox for International Students. I'm so excited that you're here to join us today. So I know that Eileen just shared some housekeeping items before we begin. Just letting you know, if you get disconnected, feel free to log back in and we will let you in. Also, if your internet connection is poor, please join without either your video or by telephone. That could help with the clear audio. Also, as Eileen mentioned, we welcome questions. So if you have one, please make a note of it and save it for the Q&A section, or feel free to share it in the chat, and then we'll definitely get back to you at the end of our session. And also keep yourself muted to minimize distractions. Please be prepared to take notes. Please, we would love to see your faces if you want to share your video. It'd be great to kind of engage with each of you. And if you're easily distracted, please feel free to click on the presenter's view to minimize distractions. And then also, if you have to step away, feel free to turn off your video and come back in to turn it on when you come back. All right, so we can go ahead and get started.
We first wanted to welcome you to this particular event and introduce ourselves. My name is Karen Lau. I'm the International Advisor for the College of Engineering and Computer Science. I'm really happy that you guys have joined us, and I look forward to our discussion this afternoon.
And my name is Vanessa Rubenfeld. I'm also with the College of Engineering and Computer Science as a career specialist, but we are here today to share with each international student, with all international students on campus, about our services and what we can provide also from a Career Center standpoint. So we're so excited to be here with you all.
So one of the first things that we wanted to do was to have some participation from our audience, from all of you students. As you reflect upon your own experience as students on campus, we wonder if you can maybe add something to the chat box to answer the question, like, what are some of your concerns and challenges as an international student? Or what do you think are, in general, are some concerns and challenges that international students face? So if you can use the chat box, just type in a couple of your thoughts. We'd just like to see if there are any patterns or any trends or ideas or thoughts that you might have regarding this.
Hi, this is Niranjan. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
Hi, so I'm Niranjan. I'm a project engineer at Shumike Ecom. I completed my construction management degree and I graduated in 2019, May. So as an international student, our first biggest challenge is have the cultural difference and no USA work experience at the time of finding the internship or the job. And at the time of finding the internship, as an international student, we have many regulations, rules of US government that we have to follow. And on top of that, we also have the rules, regulations of our university. So the main challenge is to find the company which give you an interview call. Once you get the interview call, then you have to impress them. You have to select yourself in the interview. And after that, you have to convince the company that you're a good fit and make sure that they're ready to do all the rule, like they're ready to follow all the rules and regulations of your government and our university. Like the university rules means we have to have the mandatory start date and end date for the internships and have to have a certain periods of week. So many companies, they are not willing to do that for the students, especially for the international students. But as an international student, it is very hard to convince them to follow everything and let you into their company for the internship. And during the job search, at the time of application, every company asks us a question. Do you need sponsorship now or in future? And if we say yes, then we reject it automatically at that point itself. So it is very hard to reach to the actual interview with one-on-one with the manager or the recruiter or supervisor. So to reach to the interview, we have to use the other methods like LinkedIn or many other methods that I'll guide later. But yeah, those are the main challenges that we face as an international students to get into any company or yeah.
Thank you. As Niranjan had mentioned, if you could go to the next slide, a couple of patterns that we've recognized that international students face fall into the three particular categories that have been touched upon by Niranjan. And just to let you know, our sort of agenda or outline for today is that Vanessa and I will be talking and giving a little background, but we also plan to have a student panel as well, and they'll be able to dive into some of their own personal experiences addressing these particular concerns. But three general concerns. One is, what jobs do I qualify for? What internships may I apply to? And what services on campus are available to me to help me through this process of applying for jobs and internships?
Yes, thank you both. So we just wanted to be here to share just some tidbits and some information to really help each of you. So no matter where you're from, we're here. So we know that we have international students from all over, right? All over the world. And some of you might actually be in your home countries right now due to the pandemic. So we wanted to try to, bring awareness and bring this information to you in this virtual setting. So we're just here to support, and hopefully that you'll gain some great information from this session to take home with you. And so I want to share also how the Career Center can help. So there's 4 different ways that we help in the Career Center. And so as a career specialist, I'm helping students uncover really more about who they are as individuals and how they can relate, their actual experiences and their academic preparation, their skills, all the above to skill development and increase skill development to their job search and internship search. Okay, so really career major exploration falls under these 4 different areas. So the first part, self-discovery. So before you pick your major, or if you're unsure about your major, or if you're still kind of wondering maybe between a couple different majors, the self-discovery stage is super helpful because we help you uncover your interests, your skills, your motivated skills, what skills you actually want to use in your career path, your personality and how that might connect to particular, careers, right? Not just majors, and also your values and how your values kind of unfold over time and how they evolve over time, based on who you are as a person, how you view the world, and how your personality aligns with your values as well. And so we use different career assessments, different processes within our counseling sessions to help you uncover each of these. And so the next stage goes more into exploration. So once you've kind of uncovered more about your interests, your skills, personality, and who you are as a person overall, then comes the exploration stage. And so the exploration stage involves having informational interviews, which includes talking to people who are in fields of interest of yours, and maybe job shadowing them. Of course, in this virtual setting, there are opportunities to do a job shadow in a virtual way. And so we'll have that in spring break as well. We have a job shadowing program. But also joining clubs and organizations. We have a Titan Pro network to network with people in the fields of interest, taking classes, interning, volunteering, researching grad school. I mean, all of these are kind of under the umbrella of exploration, which also cross sections with skill development, right? So in terms of exploring all of these things, that skill development comes into play by also taking classes, interning, joining these clubs and organizations, volunteering, job shadowing, working on campus. So all of these things, can kind of come into their exploration and skill development phases and to the real job search, right? When you're really ready to get that job, right? To graduate, but even before graduation, it's time to really network with people and individuals that fields of interest that you are, excited about, want to learn more about, and researching companies. We can help you find the companies that you are really wanting to explore more, help you write a resume and cover letter, interviewing skills. We do mock interviews with you. We'll even help you negotiate offers, kind of give advice in terms of the best ways to negotiate after you've actually been offered the position. And so just a couple different strategies to use. So especially as international students, you want to have mentors and partners in your job search and internship search. You want to make sure you have people that are on your team and on your side. Whether it be, of course, you have professors, you have people that are, really supportive of you in your academic world and worldview, right? But you want to make sure you have people besides professors and besides staff on campus that are really there to help you, whether it be upperclassmen or graduate students or even alumni. It's great to find those people that you can develop partnerships with that are willing to really go the extra mile to help you. And so, that does take some research, but it also involves your efforts of networking. And so, that's a really great start. And so leveraging your strengths and international experience is also another thing that is super important. So in terms of uncovering your strengths, we can help you as a career counselor to know more about yourself and how your strengths would, kind of catapult you into a new experience or a new job or internship. And so using your international experiences and all your strengths would be a great combination to then really articulate, your value to an employer. And so a lot of international students come to me and they say, I don't have experience in the US. I'm from, the Middle East, or I'm from a country where, it's not normal for a woman to be in, the construction field or certain field, so I think kind of the mindset sometimes changes, right, when we come to the US, because it's very different, right, in the US. And so understanding that our strengths, that your strengths actually with that international experience is super important and super helpful. And it's not a weakness, right? So I want you to all remember that because you have this international experience, you are multicultural, multilingual, that is a huge advantage for you. And so just be confident in your abilities and in your, awareness, multicultural awareness as well, which a lot of people don't have, right? So I think that's super important. And I want you to be able to articulate that to employers. So I can help you in that sense as well. Also, create and increase your weekly job search goals. I think having those goals, SMART goals, are super important. I can help you with that as well, but it's also, just to keep in mind, it's important to have, that set amount of goals that you have targeted for each week and increase that, right? Increase it by 1 or 2 positions, right? And we know that with this COVID era we're facing right now, especially in this country and throughout the world, of course, but it's not impossible, but it is a more difficult time, right, to find a position. So to keep your mind, fresh, to be motivated, just definitely take care of yourself and have those goals in mind every week, right? So never give up, just always come back to your goals, and then you'll be more motivated. And also make sure to utilize LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great platform that I think a lot of students may not be aware of. And I'm also here to help with uncovering, like demystifying LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a great way to not only follow those companies that you're interested in working for, but also network with people that you want to maybe pursue that certain job path that they're taking on, right? So it could be alumni. It's another way to kind of reach out to them, alumni from our campus or other CSUs. I think it's a great way to just network and find out more information about how they got to where they are. So those are just a few of our tips for now. And I'm going to have Karen now talk about faculty research opportunities.
Sure, thank you. So in addition to searching the Career Center's website for jobs, one of the overlooked funding opportunities is working with faculty and their particular research projects. So a lot of our faculty on campus and all the different colleges and departments work on particular research projects, and some faculty are successful in winning some large grants. And as a part of the grant, the faculty include a budget. And part of the budget can often include funding up or an allocated portion of money to support undergraduate and graduate students to help faculty conduct their research. And faculty usually pay between $14 to $18 an hour to help them on the research projects, but it's another job opportunity that a lot of international students and students in general often overlook. And it's also a way to build your resume as you work with these faculty, as you gain research experience. Often the faculty will write their student assistants letters of recommendation. And so it's just a really nice way to round out your experience as you're professionally developing yourself as an undergraduate or graduate student. To get in touch with these faculty who have won grants, I would recommend that you contact the appropriate administrator in your individual department to find out who these faculty are. And then as a student, you can reach out to those faculty to set up a meeting where you can discuss your research interests or some of your favorite courses or some things that you're interested in to see if there's an alignment and match with the faculty interests and some of the faculty needs. Something else that I also wanted to point out is the IRSP program, which is the International Research and Study Program. And this is sponsored by the Extension and International Programs Office. And what it is, it's a 3-unit course that students can take where they're working directly with individual faculty who are conducting research projects. Now, this is a little different from what I just mentioned in that the student still needs to pay tuition for a 3-unit course, but in turn, they are mentored by these particular faculty, developing research skills. And again, you're rounding out your resume as you can now demonstrate to future employers or future internship hires or committees that you have experience working on particular projects that might align with their particular company. And so these are 2 research opportunities, whether it's paid or unpaid, to help you in your professional development and skills development. So in addition to jobs, in addition to research opportunities, there are also opportunities for you to participate in internships on and off campus. And the steps to go about this is that the student will usually contact the Career Center to inquire about particular internships. And then from there, also work with what we call the CICE, the Center for Internships and Community Engagement, to develop a plan for the student to participate in an internship. Some internships are paid, some are not paid. In addition to that, your department may or may not allow you the opportunity to also earn academic credit for participating in this particular internship. So this course, or you would enroll in a course through your particular department, and the course number is going to differ depending on your department. So it could be like biology 563 or kinesiology 465, whatever your department has. And there's a particular process with different steps in order for you to apply to receive course credit for your particular internship. And what you'll see on the slide is what's called a card that can be found on the CICE website, and it'll walk you through the particular steps that you need to do for your particular department, as well as appropriate person to contact in order to receive academic credit. And so we wanted to now talk about cultural norms. So, there are job opportunities, there are research opportunities, there are internship opportunities for you. But in the larger context of the US, how would one apply for these particular positions? And are there any particular cultural norms that international students need to be aware of as they're applying to and interviewing for these particular positions? So Vanessa and I are going to share just a couple of thoughts and tips that we thought might be helpful for you. One of the tips that I thought about for international students is in terms of formality. And so when you are addressing your potential employer, whether it's on a cover letter that you're sending, or whether it's an informal email inquiring to the company, either of particular questions that you might have or a self-introduction, or a letter of interest to say that you are interested in a job opportunity or internship, I would say make sure to keep those letters on the formal side where the introduction, where you are introducing yourself to the company. But one of the things that I often see with international students is that they will address the person as hey or hello or something on the a bit more informal end. And so my encouragement would be to do a little research, know exactly who you're trying to contact, maybe the name of the recruiter or the name of the person who'll be interviewing you, and writing them a letter that says, "Dear Mr. So-and-so," or "Dear Ms. So-and-so." And so just to keep things a little formal would help, especially in the context of the US. Also, you might want to dress appropriately, dress as if you are serious and prepared to work at this particular company. Even though we are working remotely right now during COVID-19, you still want to present yourself professionally. So dress up just a tad more than a t-shirt or your sleepwear. And you also might want to keep in mind the virtual background. So a lot of these interviews will be, especially during COVID, will be done virtually through Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And you want to keep in mind that employers can also see your surroundings. And so I have been on calls with students and you can see their dirty laundry being piled up in the back, or you can see, the stack of books and homework that's spread out, and you want to present yourself in a professional manner. And so I would just be mindful to use a blank wall, or I've even seen students take sheets, to cover up or create sort of a pseudo background, and then also take advantage of the virtual backgrounds that a lot of these platforms have to offer.
Thank you, Karen. Also, in addition, as I mentioned before, LinkedIn is a great platform to utilize. And I think, some countries may not use LinkedIn as much as we do, but in the US, LinkedIn is essential across many industries. And so definitely take advantage of LinkedIn because it is free. There's a premium account, but you don't have to pay for it. Just sign up if you haven't already. If you have questions, I'm happy to help in a session to help you create your profile and update it. So anytime you're actually updating your resume, you definitely want to update your LinkedIn and keep them as consistent as possible. Of course, with your resume, you're also tailoring it to the position you're applying for, but LinkedIn, you're trying to reach as many recruiters and employers as possible. And so just one tidbit to, in terms of networking with employers, I think it's a little difficult sometimes to reach out to a recruiter because they, if you haven't already gotten an interview or gotten the position, you definitely want to be careful with, reaching out to a recruiter directly. So what I would say, or my suggestion would be to reach out to alumni or someone who works at that company who, you might be interested in working in. And so definitely kind of, do some research on LinkedIn and visit the Career Center, visit with your career specialist, depending on the college you work for. We have 8 different career specialists for each college. So for those in the College of Engineering and Computer Science, I am definitely dedicated to helping you in your career path and development. But definitely utilize LinkedIn because I think it's underutilized by a lot of our international students. So that is one great way to network and, and most recruiters are looking at LinkedIn daily. That is the one way or the main way right now, especially in this virtual space, that they are recruiting candidates. And so definitely take advantage of that platform, take advantage of the Career Center and all of our workshops that we offer. I know that also ISS offers many workshops as well. So definitely take advantage of them, of International Student Services. They have a great amount of programs and services as well for similar topics. So those are just a few tips. So now we are so proud to share with each of you our international student panel. So we actually have one former international student and one alumni here to share some of their experiences. So I'm going to introduce each of them. So first we have Harlik Shah. He is currently pursuing his master's in computer science at Cal State Fullerton. He had previously worked full-time for 2 years as a software developer, and being an international student, and despite getting a summer internship canceled due to COVID-19, he successfully secured another summer internship offer during May. Currently, he's working as a fall 2020 software engineer intern at a different company and a graduate research assistant under the faculty of Professor Kaneko Sood in the computer science department. So welcome, Harlik.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for inviting us.
Thank you. And I'd also like to introduce one of our proud alumni, Niranjan Mahumani. He's a proud alumni of Cal State Fullerton. He's currently working as a construction engineer at Shimmick ACOM. I don't know if I said that correctly, on a at the City of Oceanside Advanced Water Purification Facility project. He graduated in May 2019 with his Master of Science in Construction Engineering and Management. He's also the former board of directors at ASI from the College of Engineering and Computer Science. And he's a former president of DBIA student chapter at Cal State Fullerton. So I'll also have you maybe explain what ASI is and DBIA, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Vanessa, for inviting us and giving this opportunity to share our thoughts. So as you asked me, ASI is the Associated Students Incorporated, which is the student government at Cal State Fullerton. It is a platform for students to raise their voice to the university, and the ASI is the organization who arrange many events for the student betterment and for the student involvement and give us many leadership opportunities for the students.
Wonderful.
And the DBIA is the student chapter in civil engineering. DBIA is Design Build Institute of America. This is the nationwide organization which involves students, and they arrange the nationwide conferences. They invite students in those conferences, and it is a very good platform to mingle with the industry professionals. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you both so much for taking time out of your schedule and taking off work to be here. We really appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe start with some of our questions. So the first question for each of you, what were some of your biggest challenges while searching for jobs and internships as an international student?
Yeah, I can go this. So being an international student, I was being, biggest challenge was my sponsorship visa, because most of the companies, they first, while filling the application, they try to fill out this drop down, like if you want the sponsorship in the future or not. And based on that, the companies decide whether we need to move forward with this applicant or not. So most of the companies which I've applied to, almost 50% of the companies have rejected based on purely on the sponsorship because of the current situation. So one of the biggest challenges was the sponsorship for me.
I think I accidentally addressed this issue earlier during this meeting, but I'll go over that again. While I was finding my internship in May 2018, my biggest challenge was to get an interview call from any company, because of the cultural difference, and that time my resume had no USA experience. So that was the biggest challenge for me to get an interview call from any company. But finally, through one of the student chapter, I got the interview call, and somehow I managed to got selected into that interview. But the new race was after that. Means after that, as I told, we have many US government visa rules and regulations that we have to follow, and also we have the university rules and regulations, like the certain period, certain week of internship that you can do. The start date and end date is fixed for international students. So I have to tell my company to follow all these rules and regulations and guidelines. For that, my company had to change my offer letter 4 times, and not many company willing to do this for international students. So you have to convince them, and you have to be that much strong that they are ready to do this for you. So that is a tough thing for us. And for the job search, as Harlik also mentioned, that the sponsorship is the biggest issue. Many companies ask us during that form filling time that, are you an international student or you need visa sponsorship in future? And if we say yes, then they reject it at the same time. So to go to that interview, to reach to the actual interview with the recruiter or with the manager was the toughest task.
Thank you both.
Mm-hmm.
Also, did now employers tell you couldn't apply, tell each of you that you couldn't apply as an international student? Why or why not?
Yeah, that's a good question. So most of the companies like IBM and other top companies, they mention in the job description whether these roles will be open for the sponsorship or not. So we just need to look on the description. If it's mentioned, you can totally apply, or if it's not, then you just restrict yourself to apply over there. And apart from it, there is also one on the Google extension, H1B, something kind of linker. They automatically tell us like which company sponsor visa or not. So it is a very good tool to use for the job search. I'll mention the link in the chat if I can find out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, many company has policies that they don't hire the international students because to hire international students, it costs money to the company in future for the H1B visa sponsorship and the STEM extension for some companies. And many people, the international students, once they get the visa sponsorship from the company, sometimes they leave the company. So that is also kind of the trust issues of the companies with the international students or international employees. Because of that, also they don't sponsor or they stop sponsoring the international students. And the one more barrier is the politics and the political uncertainties. No one knows what decision will government take and what we have to do with the international students. Sometimes student might have to go back to their country because of some changed rules. Sometimes employer might have to pay more money for the same amount, same job description. So these are also problem for the companies, and sometimes the managers in the company, they are ready to get international students in their company, but they have to deal with their company internally to convince their bosses, convince their stakeholders that we need these international students and we want to sponsor them. But I have seen and I've noticed that many company leaders, they are not willing to do these things for the international students. So that is kind of the problem we are facing, or the company or the manager itself they are facing internally.
Okay,
My
thank
God.
you.
Mm.
Thank you so much for sharing. What types of companies or organizations are usually more friendly to international students for internships and jobs as well?
I would say all the like top Fortune 500 companies are willingly to sponsor the visa sponsorship, and they want the international student to come and work for them. So most of the companies do sponsor, but most of the startups, as we can see, they are very limited number of employees over there. So those are the people which are just restricted themselves to get the international student and go all the hurdles after in the future. So I would suggest apply for the top 500 companies, and later on during the like last 2 or 3 months of your job search, apply for the startup as well if you're not getting anything apart from the Fortune 500 companies.
Thank you. Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, as Harlik said, the publicly traded companies, the big companies, they are willing to sponsor, they are willing to hire the international students. And these are the companies who also take the international students for an internship, because later they keep the international students for the full-time position and they sponsor for the full-time also. And the private companies, they are not willing to sponsor international students, because it's cost money, the private company. And uh, if you hire the international student and he's in another city, then you have to pay for their relocation also. And some small companies and private companies, they don't have that much budget over the publicly traded companies. So that makes the difference. And yeah, mainly the publicly traded companies only sponsor, or they're willing to hire international students.
Right. That makes sense because they do have more funding as well.
Right.
Yeah. Great. Thank you both so much. That's very helpful. Absolutely. How did the Career Center help you in your job and internship search?
Oh yeah, I still remember like in that when I came for the first time here for my master's last year, I registered for the workshop with career specialist Chandra Isika. and she had really helped me for all the going through all the process. How does a resume look like? What the keywords you need to mention on the resume? How you need to utilize LinkedIn and all the effective ways she had guided me. And based on that, I modified all the things and started applying again. And I can see the result, like almost 10 to 20% of the people have responding me betting a better way. So that way it has really helped me for my future jobs. Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, the important resource which I got from the Career Center is the Career Guide, the book which the you guys Career Center has designed for us. So it has many important information like all the templates for your resume, different kind of resume, then cover letters, then thank you email, and all that important information. You recently also included some LinkedIn tips, so that was also helpful for anybody to get ready your profile and for the to get ready for your job search. So that's the start point, I would say. Then I remember I've attended the resume workshop with Marcela Rojas, and I showed her my resume, and she corrected so many things in my resume to make it more impressive and mm, more beautiful, I would say. So that was a good help from Career Center. I know Career Center arranged many resume review workshops, or they also uh, organize the mock interviews. So that also helpful, and that was helpful for me during my job search and my interview process. And the other important thing, our Career Center organizes the career fairs. So I know not everybody gets the job through the career fairs, but the career fairs are the good platform to go there and talk to employers, recruiters, and um, other people. In that way, you'll get to know that how to present yourself in front of the company, in front of the employer, what to talk, what they're expecting from you. So that's a good practice, I would say, which helps later in your real interview with the companies. And that helped me a lot. I almost attended all the career fairs during my time in the CSUF, so that helped me a lot. Yeah, those
Wonderful.
were the important resources I used and was useful for me.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that.
Hmm.
Thank you. I'm so glad that was helpful.
Yeah, it is
Vanessa,
helpful. The career fair
Yes.
is.
Question?
yeah, and I think oh, cool. Just real quick, I've
Yeah.
heard Harlik and Ranjan talk about it a little bit, but we do have a question in the chat, and that was answered a little bit, but I want to make sure we answered.
We will. Yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So
Thank
you
you.
want to ask it now, or do you want to wait till later?
I just answered. I
Um,
was just writing the
Oh,
answer.
okay, I figured. I was like, I think we touched on it, but I just want to make sure. And we have another one. Okay, great. I'll let you continue. Thank you so much.
yeah, definitely. So I'll get to that question just in one moment. We'll get to the questions from the audience after this, but I just wanted to ask each of you just any general advice you have for current international students struggling to find a job or internship in this COVID climate.
Yeah, sure. So first and foremost, as you mentioned, LinkedIn is a great platform to go with. You need to utilize each 4 to 5 hours daily for this platform to connect with all the recruiters, managers for each and every companies. That way, you can able to connect with them and get the job, some kind of thing we can able to get over there. Secondly, I would say start preparing your skill set much on the earlier stage and apply as well as on the daily basis. Don't wait just to learn something and then afterwards apply, because in that way most of the companies deadlines must have gone and you are not able to apply in the later stage. So first thing, apply as well as start learning at the same time. Don't wait at the end, I would say. And lastly, it will sooner or later it will be going to helpful for you in the future. So be what you are doing currently, and it will be going to be great for you in the future. Yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Harlik.
Yeah, I would say narrow down your job search. Just set your target. Like during this COVID session, we need more ventilators. We need more medical equipments. We need the work from home structure, the softwares, everything. So, for example, if you're a mechanical engineer looking for the job, just target the companies who are making the ventilators. Look what they want. Learn those skills through LinkedIn Learning or Udemy. Reach out to the people who are working in that company, and try to get the internal reference. in that company. So in that way, you will get highlighted and will increase the chances of getting selected in there. Same with the civil. For example, we need the infrastructure, and now all the civil companies, essential infrastructure on the essential infrastructure projects, they are working, like the bridges, the water treatment plants, and the medical buildings. So if you target those companies, if you look those companies, their locations, and make your resume accordingly to their requirement, it would be easier, or you will increase your chances to get the job. Same like the computer guys, like now we are using the Zoom software, and we have many more software like the company Cisco. They are working to make this work culture, work from home work culture better. So if you target those companies and work on their requirements, then you can increase your chances to get selected and to get the job. And we know that this is going to be end soon, because we have the vaccine ready, almost ready, the Moderna and Pfizer. So I would say stay focused, stay consistent, do what you're doing, take the help of your seniors, reach out to them, look if their company has any openings. Maybe you can pass your resume and get the internal reference through that. It would be beneficial for you. And lastly, just stay calm and keep patient.
Wonderful. That's wonderful advice from both of you who have been there and you know what it's like. Especially, both of you were searching for positions and jobs within this climate. And as an international student and former international student, those struggles that each of our audience members are facing. So thank you all so much for sharing. And so now I'm going to take questions from the audience. And so I noticed we did have a question. Let's see, the question was coming from Min. So the question was, what are the platforms you utilize for the job search that you feel are most helpful to international students? So in terms of companies accepting OPT or potential future visa sponsorships. Yes, so Harlik did you want to share what you wrote here?
Yeah, sure, I can go ahead. Like first and foremost, I've already mentioned earlier, LinkedIn is the best platform. Utilize it. Go each and every company's page and connect with them. Second, I would suggest go to the Glassdoor. Even they have a very good platform of the job search. They can just give us the daily job alerts, like which other companies have just posted the job roles on their website. So that's a great platform to go and apply early as fast as possible. Third, I would say Indeed is also a good platform in the terms of kind of a small level of the companies which is they posted around. In that